Hey there, Alex here. If you're looking for the cheapest iPhone with a big screen, it would be this, the iPhone 6 Plus. But being a phone that's 4 years old now, is it actually still worth buying? Let's find out. First of all, let's talk about the design. It's pretty mundane looking by today's standard, but because the 6S, 7 and 8 Plus all looks pretty much the same from the front, it actually doesn't really look that old, which is a good thing I guess. Same goes for the display as well, which I think still looks pretty good even today. The build quality of the phone still feels pretty good to me too, but it is important to remember that this was the start of the whole bandgate fiasco. I still think the whole thing is a little overblown, and unless you have a habit of putting your phone in your back pocket and sitting on it, I don't think it's gonna be an issue at all. Something that I really love about Apple devices is their software support, so even the older iPhone 5S is still getting iOS 12. This really extends the lifespan of these products. Apple also made a big deal about how they improved the performance of these older devices, which is definitely commendable. In my time with the iPhone 6 Plus, I did notice a slight speed improvement in some areas, like it's faster to boot up by a bit, the keyboard pops up a little quicker, the camera app seems a little more responsive, things like that. That said, this is a phone with limited processing power and just 1GB of RAM after all, so I'm still seeing areas where the phone will stutter a little or the scrolling won't be as smooth. But it is still remarkable how Apple was able to eke out a little bit more life out of such an old phone. Because of how games seems to be a little more optimized for iOS devices, it is still able to handle a lot of the games that I play. If this were an Android phone from 2014, it probably wouldn't perform nearly as well. And in case anyone is wondering, no, it's not able to run Fortnite, but PUBG on low graphics settings does run quite well on it. Battery life wise, the iPhone 6 Plus I have here has a battery health of around 92%, and battery life for me is just about average. Despite the larger battery, it's simply not as efficient as much newer processors. That said, a day of use for me is still easily achievable. Apple's battery replacement program is still available until the end of the year, so be sure to take advantage of that. Other than speed improvements, the only other new feature that I'm excited about in iOS 12 is probably just the ability to move the cursor around just by long pressing the spacebar. This makes text editing so much easier, and you can tap on the keyboard again to start selecting text. Previously, you would need an iPhone with 3D Touch to be able to do something similar. The iPhone 6 Plus was the first iPhone to come with optical image stabilization, and it still works well enough for the most part. I can still get really good looking images in good lighting, and even low light shots are not that bad still. Considering the phone is 4 years old, it's not really fair to compare it with newer phones. All I can say is that it's still usable. That's pretty much my conclusion here. The iPhone 6 Plus is still a usable phone in 2018. It doesn't sound like much, but it is actually kind of impressive. By usable, I mean that I can actually live with this as my main phone if I have to. Sure, it may not have all the things we've grown to enjoy on newer iPhones, but it still does the basics well enough. That said, if you want a better smartphone experience, I'll recommend paying a little bit more for the iPhone 6s Plus for the much better performance, cameras and extra features. Or if you're okay with Android, there are a ton of great budget options these days too. But if your budget is really limited and you want an iPhone with a big screen, the iPhone 6 Plus is still somewhat decent, even in 2018. Thanks for watching my revisit of the iPhone 6 Plus. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content in the future. Thanks again, and see you guys on the next one.